evening. Welcome to the Money Show, the only show of its kind, India's first and only show which brings market's top financial experts to answer all your financial queries. I'm Karunya Rao, and let's kickstart the show. And joining us today, right here on ET Now, is Gajendra Kothari, who is the MD CEO of Etica Wealth Management. Mr. Kothari, welcome to the Money Show right here on ET Now. Let's straight get on board with addressing all of our viewer queries. We have the first one, which is a query from Mahera Sham. Wants to know, how can I make my 10-year-old son more financially smart and aware? Of course, we all know that today is Children's Day, and our queries are going to be about the same. Let's hear out straight from the viewer what his concerns are.
Since Ayan has been very small, he has been very passionate about animals, specifically dinosaurs, though we don't know if that's what he would want to pursue since he's only 10 yet. So my question is, how can I make Ayan financially smart and aware at such a young age?
Over to you, Mr. Kothari. What would be your advice to our viewer here? What is the best way to plan the child's future in this case in order to make him financially independent?
Sure. Hi, Mahera. It's glad to see that, as a mother, you're very concerned that how can Ayan, start becoming more financially aware about things. We've seen in our country, normally money discussions doesn't happen too much, neither at the family level, in our dining room discussions, we don't discuss on money things. We think it's too taboo a topic to be taught to children at this age. Unfortunately, in our education system syllabuses, we don't talk about money as a subject. We only come to know at a later date, and that too in a very technical way. And so that's why a fear psychosis gets, in the mind of the child. And when we get into college and workforce also, we don't, are not encouraged to talk about money. We're not, discussed that what are the options we have. We're not taught things like power of compounding at an early age, which is the kind of eighth wonder of the world, as Albert Einstein mentions. So it's very important that financial awareness is taught to children right in the beginning and when the child is very young. 10-year-old Ayan, I think the great way to start for him is to show him a wonderful movie which is there on YouTube called One Idiot, which is basically meant for the youth and children of the country on how to build a fortune by the time you retire. So this is a great way to start. In India, we connect everything to Bollywood, so this movie, I'm sure, will really excite Ayan. Apart from that, the other ways you can start is giving him a pocket money, buying him a piggy bank where he saves X amount every month, maybe 1,000 rupees or 2,000 rupees. You can take him to a bank, open a children's bank account, wherein you can expose him what is a bank account, what is a debit card, difference between a debit and a credit card. Normally, again, we have seen that children at these days, at this age, thinks the parents are the ATM, which is like anytime money. Whenever you ask, we'll get stuff immediately. They don't realize the pain which the parents have to go through to get that particular gift to the children. And sometimes these are very expensive, like Playbox, Xbox and Sony PSP. These are like 20,000-30,000 items. But they don't realize that there's a lot to be planned before you make such purchases. So by instilling in this discipline of saving, and yes, you can tell him that, look, if you want to buy this particular item, save for 6 months and then buy with this pocket money. And this will encourage him to plan, save and have a discipline. Another good way is start an SIP for him, and every month maybe 1,000 or 2,000 rupees, and he can track his investments, and you can link this to his various goals. Maybe he wants to buy a bicycle in 6 months or a year, or he wants to plan for his education. So these are some of the great ways for him to start. And just to give an idea how numbers work, if you start a 1,000 rupees SIP, when right now Ayan is 10, in 40 years time when Ayan becomes 50, this small amount itself will become 1 crore rupees, considering 12% returns, and you invest in an equity fund. So these are some simple steps, you can involve him. There are many online videos and curriculum for children on how to be aware about money, do's and don'ts of, doing online purchases and stuff. So, and encourage him to read, books which are meant for kids. They explain money concepts in a very easy way, simple and fun. There are a lot of games. The best way I would think is to play Monopoly game with Ayan, wherein he knows how to buy stuff. There are games on markets as well, so you can play. So there are various ways, and once he gets excited, then at a later stage you can introduce him to various kind of online courses as well. And I think this will be a great start.
Okay, lots of advice given by Mr. Kothari as to how you can make it more interesting for your child to want to learn more about managing finances, managing money, exposing him to different platforms where he can consume content, he can learn via a lot of games, a lot of reading material and videos that are available online. Moving on to the next one then, Seema Rangwala joins us now with her question. Seema, take it away.
Hi, I'm Seema Rangwala. I'm a psychologist. I'm a part-time working mother. I have a 1.5-year-old daughter named Alara. Does it make sense to buy insurance for my daughter? And for how much and for how long?
Okay, so that's an interesting question coming in. Seema here wants to buy insurance for her 1.5-year-old daughter. Mr. Kothari, what would be your call for a move like this, and what would be your suggestion for making it a better idea in order to get an insurance for her?
Sure. Seema, that's a wonderful question. I'm sure many other viewers would have been facing this question. There are a lot of insurance companies which peddle child insurance plans. As an advisor, I wouldn't recommend you to go for that because those may not be very efficient. So the only insurance which you should have for your daughter at this stage is a health insurance, which should be clubbed with your family's overall floater insurance. She should have adequate cover. If you're living in a metro, the family's insurance coverage should be at least 10 lakhs. Non-metro, then it should be at least 7 lakhs. You don't need to go for life insurance for her, or because I would rather say you should have a term plan for yourself, because if she is dependent on you and if something were to happen to you, what would happen in your absence? Would she be able to live the life comfortably the way she has been living? So buy a term plan for yourself, which should be at least 20 times of your annual income. Once you have a term plan, you don't have to worry about the protection for Alara. The best way for you to plan for a future is to start investing right now, maybe into mutual funds, because she has a long time to go, and there are equity funds which over 8-10 years can give inflation adjusted returns, plus returns. 10 to 12% is the returns you can expect, and this is a way you can build a good fortune for her, both for Alara's education goal as well as for her marriage goal. And the good part in mutual funds is that there's no lock-in. You can put in on a monthly basis or invest lump sum, and at any stage whenever you want to withdraw partial amount, you're free to withdraw, and this is far more tax efficient also. So rather than buying insurance linked child plans which are sold by insurance companies, I think it's better to keep insurance and investment separate and go for investments in the name of Alara.
All right, that's the view coming in then. I hope you will be able to take a prudent call basis of this in very interesting observations given by Mr. Kothari. Let's get in now a query from Ami Merchant for her 7-year-old daughter Soha. Ami, what's your query?
Soha is 7 years old. We have saved up for her, but want to save up for her child's future, education and marriage. How and where should we save up for different milestones of her life?
Okay, Mr. Kothari, that is something that most mothers, most parents are concerned about, the child's future and their marriage, and helping them secure a safe, secure, sound future. What would be your advice for the same?
In fact, Ami, you're right. Most parents in India have seen this is the #1 goal for every parent. How can they secure the child's future education, marriage? They even put this goal above the retirement goal, which should not be the case. Ideally, your retirement comes first and then children's education. But that's how we parents are. I think you are at a right stage. You still have good 10-11 years to go for higher education. So I would say identify the goals. Since you've already identified a couple of goals here, you can choose investments based on these goals. The best way, Ami, is to go to various websites where you have child's education calculators, which course she may like to do in the future, and you can know the present cost of these courses, the expenses in India, overseas, and then it gives you an inflation also, that at 7% if the course prices goes up every year, when she turns 18, what would be the scenario like? And then you can do backward calculations to arrive at the figure which you need to invest today, You have option to invest lump sum. You can go for a monthly SIP. Ideally, monthly SIP would be good because it would make you disciplined. And since you have time on your side, you can go for equity mutual funds. And just to give you an idea, suppose if the education cost is 20 lakhs today, and after 20 years, or 15 years, if she wants to go for this such kind of education, then the education cost itself would become 50 lakhs. And to plan for 50 lakhs today, you need to start an SIP maybe of 12,000-13,000 rupees. So, which is not a big amount for you to start. And once you start building the corpus, and at any point of time, if you have lump sum also, you can top it up in this and choose one fund per goal. So if you have 3 goals, you have 3 funds, you are able to track each goal very specifically, and whenever your goal is met and achieved, you can withdraw this money for that purpose and pay for the course fees or for the marriage. So go for the multi-cap equity funds for the long term. You can invest in the name of Soha, and you can become the guardian. A couple of funds which I would like to recommend is Mirae Asset India Equity Fund and UTI Equity Fund. These are good funds to invest for long term. I'm sure you'll be able to achieve your goals.
I'm sure she will be able to, given the fact that you've given such comprehensive advice with the names of the funds as well to look at, and working towards the target that Ami would want to achieve for her daughter by the end of the next 10 to 15 years. With that, we'll slip into a short break. We have more interesting queries lined up on the other side. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching the Children's Day special edition of the Money Show, and keeping it with our exciting viewer queries that are coming in. We have a live caller, BM Patil, who's dialing in from Dharwad in Karnataka. Mr. Patil, good evening. Tell us what the query is.
Hello.
Yes, hi Mr. Patil, good evening. What's the query about?
My granddaughter is 5 years older.
Okay.
I want for her education and all. For marriage and all, I want to invest about 1 lakh rupees in her name.
Okay.
Shall I invest in single equity fund or different equity funds?
Right. Mr. Kothari, Grandpa Patil here wants to invest 1 lakh worth of rupees for his granddaughter's future. What would be the best way to invest this sum?
Sure. Mr. Patil, very good gesture from a grandfather for a granddaughter. So I think you have plenty of options. You can donate or you can gift this money for your granddaughter. Again, you can go for debt funds or debt schemes like Sukanya Samriddhi account. You can invest in a name, which is a safe option, which gives you around 8.5% return. But if you want higher returns, and since you have time frame like 10-15 years to go for, I would recommend to go for mutual funds again. In mutual funds, there are 2 kinds of mutual funds, child specific mutual funds and normal funds. You can choose child specific mutual funds also, because there you can, as a donor, you can gift this amount and it will be invested in her name, and any of her parent can become the guardian and you become the donor. The process is very simple, and this money would keep growing. And the beauty is that whenever she withdraws this money, at 18, 19, 20, whenever she requires it, this money will come to her account. It won't go to parents' account. So this instills discipline, into the investment. And most of these funds, we have seen the children's education funds, many mutual funds have these funds like SDFC, UTI, Axis, and few of them has given amazing returns over the last 15-16 years. Just to give you an idea, HDFC Children's Gift Growth Fund in the last 17 years has multiplied your money 15 times. So if you would have invested 1 lakh 17 years back, today you're sitting on a corpus of 15 lakhs. It's nonetheless, it's not too late to start. You can start today and give 10-12 years time. I'm sure this money would become quite a big corpus for her to realize this for any goal she may have that time.
Right. Mr. Patil, I hope you're able to make the right calls depending on the advice given by Mr. Kothari as to how you can prudently spend that 1 lakh worth of rupees on saving up for your granddaughter's future. Moving on, we have an email query from Sonia. Mr. Kothari, she wants to know which are the specific child-specific MFs that she can invest in for her 12-year-old child. What would be your call on this sort of a query, what would be the kind of funds that you'd like her to invest in?
Sure. Sonia, you can start, there are, as I answered in the previous question, there are many mutual funds, child-specific mutual funds from various fund houses, which you can consider. I mentioned the names: HDFC, Children's Gift Growth Fund, UTI, Children's Career Plan, Axis, a Children Fund, Reliance also has a fund, and there are a few others. You can choose maybe one of them and invest money into this. The only the advantage here is that because this investment will be in the child's name, you will not be tempted to withdraw this prematurely. And and because when we make the investment in a child name, we become emotional, we would like to continue, and we only withdraw it. This is the last resort. So this can be a good idea, and you can do either a monthly SIP or a lump sum, or whenever you want to top it up. At many times you've seen children receives a lot of gifts on occasions like Diwali just went by, Christmas, or on marriage occasions. Any little amount which they receive, you can top it up that amount into the existing fund and let it grow.
Okay, there you have it. We have another email query then, Mr. Kothari, for you. Karthik has written to us, and he says that he wants his 7-year-old son to inculcate financial knowledge, but he's very disinterested. So he wants to know, how can it be more interesting for children? How can the parents make it more interesting in order to impart financial knowledge and make it more fun for the children to understand and show interest?
Sure, Mr. Karthik. I think this concern is not only just for you. There are many parents who believe that finance is a very boring and tough topic, and children at this age may not be interested. The great way to introduce them to finance is by gaming, which I also mentioned. There are a lot of games related to money matters like Monopoly and other games. This is a good way to engage them. There are a lot of comic books which explains money in a very interesting and fun way. There are a lot of YouTube videos which are available freely online, which you can use them. And and by having a discussion with your children in a very easy way, trying to answer all the queries they have, I think this can really excite him. And then when you can go and take him to a bank, wherein you can show him how finance works, how bank works, how ATM works, what is a debit card. So I think these are the fun way to introduce your child to the world of investments. Starting an SIP in his name would be a great idea. Let him do the kind of, let him see what goes into starting an SIP. He can track his SIP on a 6 monthly or 1 year basis. So this is a good way. And apart from that, there are many courses available, a one-day courses like in Bombay and many other metro cities. There's a website called safalniveshak.com which conducts courses for children from age 7 to 15. It's called Camp Millionaire. And I think when children participate in group activities with other children, this brings a lot of excitement, and I'm sure this will pave the seed for him to know more about investments, and he'll pick up from there.
Right. Karthik, I hope you will be able to use these very interesting, innovative and new age technologies in order to make your child more interested and more involved in planning his own future and be able to secure his targets at an adequate time. On that note, Mr. Kothari, I'd like to thank you as well for taking time out and helping out our viewers understand how important it is for the kids to be more financially independent and what will be the prudent ways for the same. We'll wrap it up on this edition of The Money Show. Thank you so much for watching.